Hello guys and welcome back to Mossy Maths. Today we're going to be going through a video on the laws of indices. This is going to be the first lesson of 2 on this topic, and this is for both those of you studying GCSEs and also A-level maths. For those of you doing Core 2, lesson 2 might be of more use to you, as that really looks at simplifying indices, and this is where people often lose a few marks in the exam. So lesson 2 for those of you studying A-level, for those studying GCSE both will be of use. So, in this lesson we'll be looking at the 3 main laws of indices, which are here at the top. And as long as you learn these laws, it's quite easy to apply them. We will go through some examples for each one just to make sure you understand completely what's going on with this topic. The first law says a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m plus n. The second one, a to the power of m divided by a to the power n is equal to a to the power of m minus n. And finally, the last one, a to the power of m all to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m multiplied by n. So, hopefully you see a pattern with what's going on. Let's focus on the first one here. So, don't take my word for this, please do try it with examples. If you take 2 for example, 2 to the power of 2 say, multiplied by 2 to the power of 3 will be equal to 2 to the power of 2 plus 3, 2 to the power of 5. And you can do that with any example. Here are 5 that we're going to go through for the first law. So a squared, a cubed. So clearly these are multiplied together, and therefore we can apply this law. A to the power 2 multiplied by a to the power of 3 is a to the power of 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3, of course, is just 5. So this is a to the power of 5. Now if you try the second one, x to the power of minus 2 multiplied by x to the power of 5. Well, this is x to the power of minus 2 plus 5 using this law. Minus 2 plus 5 is 3. So this is just x to the power of 3. Now for those of you that aren't familiar with this notation here, this little dot just means multiplied by. At university level maths you might see this more often. It's just a way of neatening things up, rather than writing a multiply which could be confused with an x in this case. So we have p to the power of a half multiplied by p to the power of a quarter. Well, this is just p to the power of a quarter plus a half. Okay? Which is p to the power of 3/4. This one here is slightly different. We have 2 values in brackets. However, they are both the same, so we can apply the same rule as we have here. We keep the a and b in brackets added together, and then we raise that to the power of 2 plus 5, which is 7. Now if you'd like to go through this one at home, pause the video, have a go, and then I'll go through that with you straight afterwards. There we are, so hopefully you've had a go at this one at home. A multiplied by b to the power 3, or multiplied by a squared times b. The way to answer this is to split up the different values we have. We have a and we have b. So if we multiply the a's together, we have a multiplied by a squared. Or using this rule, a to the 1 times a to the 2 is going to be a to the 2 plus 1, which is a to the power 3. B cubed multiplied by b. Well, that's 1b here and 3b's here. We add them together. That's b to the power of 3 plus 1, which is 4. So here is our answer. Now, if you think you're going to understand what's going on with these two, do move on to the lesson which covers simplifying indices in lesson 2. However, for those of you that want to go through each rule individually, here's some examples for the second rule. A to the m divided by a to the n equals a to the m subtract n. So, directly we can apply this rule. 5 minus 2 is 3, so we have x to the power 3. Make that clear? That's x to the power 3. The second one, once again, x to the power 3/4 divided by just 1x, that's x to the power 1. well, that's going to be x to the power 3/4 minus 1, which is minus 1/4. Now again, similar to the previous one here, we're going to have to split this up into x's and y's and deal with them individually. Focusing on the x's, we can see that subtracting 1 from 3 will give us 2. And here we have y to the power 2 divided by y to the power 3, so it's y to the power of 2 minus 3. And it matters what order we get this in. It's going to give us y to the power of minus 1. Now finally, moving on to the third law, which means if we raise something to a power and then raise that to a power, we simply multiply the two indices together. For example, x to the power of 2 all to the power 3 is x to the power of 2 times 3. And it's always a good idea, like I said before, to use some examples yourself, put some numbers in. Try 2 to the power 2 cubed and see if it is equivalent to this, and you'll realise that these rules do work with any example you use. A plus b to the power 3 all to the power 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so it's just a plus b to the power of 12. And finally, ab squared all to the power 4. Deal with each value individually. A to the power 4 is a to the 1 times 4, which is a to the 4. And b to the power 2 all to the power 4 is b to the power of 2 times 4, which is 8. So there we are, guys, that's the first lesson on the topic of the laws of indices. In the second lesson we'll be looking at how we can simplify indices, which is more applicable to A-level maths and particularly core 2, because this is where people often lose marks. So thanks a lot for watching the video. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and be sure to leave a comment if there's anything you're not sure on this topic. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in lesson 2.